of exactly the same things.
Losing my mind, Atlas.
Yep. Oh dear. Oh dear.
Well, the nice part about this is that I have a feeling that we can collectively agree upon how these two compositions are supposed to work. And you know what's the best part about this? Is that now we can talk about some of the other things. We can talk about skin choices.
That's true. Maybe that's where the change happens.
There's a swap up there.
I don't know. Maybe we're just in like an we just get a do-over. Maybe this is the teams were like, no, the commentary for the first series just was not good enough. Allow us to do it again, and you guys can have a redo. I appreciate it, you know? Said some weird stuff about crocodiles last time around. Maybe that just wasn't appropriate. So... maybe, yeah, okay. Our producer has just said that we're not allowed to talk about ping pong this time. That was a bit shallow. We didn't really like that. And perhaps we should look into something else. Some other recreational activity, perhaps.
I thought the LCK was a safe space for me to talk about my childhood summer holidays, and I'm very, very upset that
well,
that's not the case.
Only if they're more interesting than that. You can talk about more.
They're not very interesting, so I respect that.
Oh, okay. Break it down for me. Break down the game. Maybe we should just play some music as we show the replay. I don't know.
Elevator music.
Oh my goodness. I was about to say oh my god, but then said oh my good instead. Kind of like that Mean Girls gruel moment. Had one of those. Not great. When Gwen first came out, let me run something by you.
Yeah.
I kind of wanted to name her Edwina Sizzly.
What?
Like Edward Scissorhands.
You know, you can't do this to me, Atlas.
Is that not allowed? I thought it was kind of cool, but then I was like, yeah, but you got to fit the hands in there somewhere, and it didn't really work. Edwina Scissorhands, maybe just go with that. I don't know. Just thought I'd run it by you.
No, I appreciate that. I thought you were going to take it in a Mean Girls direction, and I'm like, I love talking about Mean Girls. I think it's a great movie, but I feel like it's too early in the game. And this is the problem: is that if you just tune in for this game, you're like, why are these casters not talking about what are we expecting? What do these two comps do?
Well, I
does
imagine
it all work.
Could you imagine if you went off to like I don't know, go for a run or something, and you'd step back in, so you went off, sort of. You know, 10 minutes into game one, and then like you had to do something, you know, you had chores to do or something like that, and then you come back and you're like, wait a second, did they pause it for me?
Wait, was there a bug? Was there a remake?
Oh, maybe. So now you can see the overlay's been fixed, things like that. Maybe this is a production redo. Production gets a redo with the correct overlay. We're going to have the items coming in on the left and the right there, all at the right times and things like that. Faker's health bar is much higher this time around, though. I think that might be a bug.
Is that just what's going to happen?
Yeah, this replay's off. There are things that are changing.
And this time, the gank is coming from the bot side.
Oh, there we go.
And there were pings going down, though, so I think Faker does suspect this.
He's going to flash. There's the follow flash, though, as in goes Pyoshik. Faker trying to get underneath this turret as Pyoshik understands that he's not going to be able to get there. The ramp up of the turret damage was going to be pretty dangerous, but they're not going to be able to grab him. This time, though, they do get a flash. So that's good news.
It's a flash-for-flash trade, and that does provide an additional opportunity for Pyoshik to look for something else. But look at Kana.
Immediate cleanse out from Bao, trying to turn the damage around, not able to get the concussive blows to land, and we are just going to back away to farming.
Yeah, the reason why I said look at Kana is this.
Oh, hi.
Yeah. He's been using his priority very aggressively, which I did quite
Whoa,
like.
that's a big old flash forward. Deadly Flourish is going to connect. Carrier's like, I went on a journey a little bit further than I wanted to this time around, and he will back away. So they get the flash out of the Varus pretty comfortably, and Carrier has the X-Flash as well as Cuz is down here. Potential Diverino possible, but some high health bars on the DRX members, so probably not going to want to risk it.
Oh, Faker's coming as well, though.
Yeah, this is a big one. Only level 4 on Faker, so not going to be paranoiaing in or anything like that, but Cuz gonna walk on around as Carrier gets in there with the Hex Splash, and immediately the kill goes down. They trade it, but they might be able to grab Becker as well, who's trying to get that fancy footwork working. And the Dustbringer just to come through as a parting gift. But this is still good news for T1, because Teddy, he gets to stay in the lane, get all the experience and the gold.
I'm also pretty sure that it's a cannon wave, so Faker actually misses out on minimal CS. Teddy, as you pointed out, picks up the kill, a full wave gets denied the bow, so it's not ideal, a 1-for-1 trade, but I think you go into that expecting that that might happen as Carrier. Does he walk over the vision here? Yep, he will, and he will probably just...
Oh, no, I'm not going to need a name. Not going to need a name. Going to be taken down immediately. Poor Steven.
It's the Steve's cousin.
Yeah. Steve's cousin, who's just a little bit more serious than Steve.
He really has his life together.
Yeah. I love the Hex Splash, just right in their face. Knew exactly what was going to happen there. But decent trade back to DRX.
It's good that they get something out of it. As pointed out, still 100% like cleanly set up by T1. And T1 making free 10-minute plays in my book is always going to be a huge win. And something that obviously we were too busy joking about the absurdity of two teams running back the exact same draft on the exact same side of the map.
Yeah.
But what we do see here is that T1 more so than DRX, I think, have identified how that first game went. Like, okay, we need to adjust this, and this. And this scenario is like, hey, Teddy and Carrier actually have a lot of pressure on bot side, so we can play around that, right? Cause paths again from top to bot, but this time Faker also sets up the wave in a way where they can play early. There's more aggressive trading going on just to make sure that that play can work out. And those are kind of adaptations that you would expect from a team of T1's caliber, but it's good to see them actually execute on it as well, because to me it feels like T1 of like 2 weeks ago would have just been like, no, actually Faker, just keep clearing waves. At some point you can maybe paranoia down.
Yeah, 70 minutes, that's when we'll really get things going. Because unfortunately that was too late in the Nongshim series. This time around though, maybe it's going to be better. Level 6 being picked up here from our solo lanes is Cuz, looking for his as well, desperately wants it, as he is Diana. That Moonfall, very valuable, is Pyoshik. Making a bit of an entrance here towards the bottom side of the map. The T1 definitely close enough to their turret to guarantee that they will be safe. So Nidalee going to have to slink back somewhere else, try and find a different avenue for success. I find it's so interesting, because we've actually been a little bit critical of CVMAX in the past of being somewhat stubborn with his drafting choices. I'm going to have to hold my thought for a moment, as Cuz just ease onto Sulka here, and Faker is going to follow up, but it's going to be a mismatched fight here. Not going to be able to grab the kill onto Sulka. Not enough damage with the Haymaker either, as Canna gets there a little bit too late with the teleport. Oh dear! T1 making a big ol' whoopsie in the river. And Cuz is like, well, not going to be able to help you out, guys. I'm sorry. And he's just going to take the Rift Scuttler and get out.
The Crucial Ultimate not available for Cuz there. He hasn't hit 6 yet, and that means that there is a big opening for DRX. Carrier!
Yeah, looking for a little bit here, but stand beside me. Pretty good. As the grenade is going to dance, but not do too much more than that.
Teddy's 6. His ultimate here.
Yep. Be able to grab that plate. Really do want it, though.
It's going to be fun on the next wave, but I'm assuming we're going to see a replay of the topside fight. It's T1 being a little bit too trigger happy, because while I think this engage is nice, if Faker ults here immediately, I think you can get away with it. But he waits rather long, and now Cuz needs to teleport, which in of itself is not a great outcome. Kana comes in and uses his Haymaker immediately, and in a sense kills Sulka, but that means that the moment that the Haymaker is used, the rest of DRX now we can just pile in on him. Because if he still has Haymaker, that doesn't work. You can't move up on the set like that. So Kana getting greedy for a kill turns an already subpar play into one that's even worse. But because of the state of the game for T1 previous to that, they're still in an okay shape.
Yeah, they're
not something you want to repeat, and most importantly, T1 needs to make sure that this is not one of those scenarios where they make one misplay and then stop playing the video game.
Yeah, they need keep playing the video game, please. That worked out in game number 1. And remember, guys, game number 1 is a carbon copy of this game, in theory. So, you can just look at what you did right, which was proactive play, getting those team fights in order, making sure that you had all the information necessary. And speaking of which, that's the Moonfall onto Bow on the bottom side. Just too much damage here as Teddy just pops him like a balloon.
Now I just want a balloon skin Jin, you know, where it's like he's a clown and he has a lot of balloons because that was
Papa Jin.
Yeah, very, very aptly done. Really nice play yet again by Cuz, who is showing us that the Diana doesn't have to be a weak pick in the early game. Sure, that early play didn't really work out, but as pointed out, I feel like that was more due to Faker being a little bit apprehensive and Kana being a little bit too over-eager. We'll pick up the Drake here. It's the opposite flip of what we saw last time, where it was the first Drake for DRX. This time they do pick up the Rift Herald here, and
it's going to be the same Drakes as well, outside of a potential Mountain Soul that could occur. As if it's an Infernal Soul, it's just going to be the weirdest situation of exactly the same game all over again.
It would make me really sad if it wasn't.
Yeah, I kind of want it to happen now. I feel like we just need to have the same RNG.
We've earned it.
Yeah.
It's a 50-50.
I feel like we're watching T1, like just going for PB attempts of their speedrun. You know, this is the second one. First one wasn't so good. This one, probably a reset, but we're going to see it through. It's very strange. Just the fact that we're getting exactly the same comps over and over again is just really weird.
And the big distinctions with last game is that this time Sorka is very fed early on, which as Renekton you will always be happy about.
Yep.
But so is Teddy. Last time it took Teddy a little bit longer to get to this point. However, right now he is looking peachy. And that lane pressure of the Jin is the reason why it was so easy for them to convert it into an early Drake. And if they can maintain that, so I think we might have some shenanigans going on top side here.
Yeah, I'm just going to go for a back here as pings out. As you can see, DRX knew exactly what was going on. King and not going to overextend or anything like that. Just going to collect this wave and even out the farm very nicely. Proto Belt completed now for Cuz. Faker yet to put that Stride Breaker together, as he's coming from base right now. Pretty interesting that he can't afford more items than that. As we're going to have a look at this replay one more time. Yep, Val caught out once again.
It's just really well played by Cuz, you know. Hits his Q, then goes in, waits for the Bao to actually use his flash node if he has it. But he's like, if you're not going to flash, I don't really have to. And follows up perfectly with the Moonfall. Teddy is walking up while the play is happening. No disjointed movements from T1 there as Cuz has snuck his way in here.
Very sneaky. Piercing arrow, Bao just playing as far back as he can. Understands Bao still doesn't have flash. This is certainly a good place for the aggression. As Pyoshik is going to note that he assumes there is a Diana on the bottom side and is going to head towards the enemy jungle, but isn't going to be able to get too much done as Teddy now some free time with this outer turret. You can see DRX's bottom lane playing very scared of this Jin, who, like you mentioned, fairly accelerated in this early stage of the game.
And the good thing about Cuz is you are never going to dive this bot lane, right? It's even without the flash available, the full health, it's an exhaust Brom, and Brom in general is kind of a nightmare to dive. I say as they already did it once at like level 3, but as a whole, I think that just Cuz's presence on the bot side makes it so much easier. Faker might be caught here, but
Pyoshik getting over the top, doesn't find the spear as Faker good sidestep. Moonfall's fantastic this time as Faker just throws through the paranoia, and that's a double kill. He had barely the items that Solka had. It's a whip in comparison to the completed Mythic, but he had the friend's assistance, and now Faker's going to have so much more money to spend when he does go home.
Spell Jungle, there's a reason why we talk a lot about that two-man power squad really roaming around the map, and in this case, Cuz and Carry are just at the ready. As DRX is understandable because this is a composition that wants to make its presence known in the mid-game, right? We've talked about last game as well. If you fall behind with this comp, it's really, really rough. You need to kind of find pressure, take down the turrets, get control of the enemy jungle, and then from there on out, it's so oppressive to play into because that hard engage from T1 can then never really happen. But it feels like this is a repeat of game number 1, where yes, DRX gets a nice play left or right, but as a whole, T1 is winning on the cross-map plays, is getting the more favorable trades, and yeah, the two plates are nice. They're going to make the gold lead a little bit less oppressive, but as a whole, it's still not enough.
Yeah, Kingin's going to find some mist, but then is pulled out of it. Cuz turns up at exactly the right time as the needlework is able to keep Kingin alive for the moment. The Ignite, enough to deter Kana from going in any further, and he had to invest the flash into that one, so unable to actually lock down the kill as Cuz just now has the Moonfall backup.
That's Gwen. Has the steel caps rather available. Has the ignite as a way of kind of deterring the set from being a little bit too trigger happy there. Let's take a look at this play from Fake here, because the setup here is beautiful. You see the pings going down. They know what's going to be down here. Finds a sidestep, and then the moment you see anyone really as DRX, like, oh.
All too easy. I love that he gets to turn off the lights as well.
Yeah, because it means that any possible follow-up from Gwen is just not a thing. Like,
it's like saying no, it's like you are trapped in here with us. It's like shutting the lid on the play. And really expertly baited from Faker. The global taunt, obviously still alive and well, as we have become used to over the years. Cuz going to be able to take down the second Drake of the game, and of course, it's mirrored Drakes. It's literally the rerun.
It's actually perfect.
Yeah.
So what do we call this one?
What do you mean?
Well,
Electric
Blue? Well, yeah, we saw the first movie. Well, I don't know. We haven't settled on the title for that one either.
Yeah, we have to kind of work out whether this is like a Toy Story 2 situation, which is a good sequel. You know, Austin Powers, another good sequel situation.
I feel like sequels generally are pretty decent. I mean,
no, sequels are normally way worse.
Aliens is an amazing movie.
Oh, right. I mean, that's Terminator. It's a little bit different. But oh, yeah, okay, maybe that's true. But like, think about like a lot of these Disney movies that like Aladdin, for example, woeful. Tarzan, terrible.
I see your point.
Yeah, there's a lot of sequels that are just minimal effort trying to get as much money from a franchise as possible, and that's bad news. But if you like talking like, you know, Lord of the Rings, like that already existed. You know, that's one book that they broke into 3. Tolkien did actually, but still was broken into 3. So that's a little bit of a different story. So yeah, some of those sequels pretty bad. We'll see which kind of sequel this is going to be though. As here's some paranoia.
Teleport.
Great stun onto Becca, who is going to be able to do some decent work there. You can see Bao, once again, it's the same level of 0 protection for the Varus. And DRX knew that, right? But still not going to be able to do anything about it. Sometimes it's about the composition. You know, as Faker's going to dive on top of Kingen, but probably not a fight that you really want to take.
It's like, oh wait, this is Gwen. Never mind. I'm out of here.
Yeah, that fear doesn't actually make very much sense, because I don't think Kingen was scared at all.
No. It's an involuntary reaction, you know. But
yeah,
Kingen is actually trying to get on top of that Noxian regardless. That is a... Noxian's good at 1v1, but Gwen is, I think, at the moment, the most aggressive champion. And this is literally just a repeat. This time it's Faker ulting in, and it's Kana teleporting. Last time it was...
that's a solo kill. Okay. Gwen?
No, that's Kingen. I mean, I do think that Gwen is obviously a very aggressive champion.
It's a bit of a combo. He is still playing Gwen. I think that is the truth.
But I'm still going to give him credit. I don't actually know, right? We haven't seen the play, so maybe it was just Faker like walking in and nothing happening whatsoever. And this is the core issue. I think that DRX, as a team today, and this might be a weird statement, I think they look a lot better. I really do. I think that as a whole, this team looks like a team that can actually, because they look completely lifeless, I think, in the last couple of matches.
Yes.
And I think here today, while neither match has been great, and I think that with how the game is currently looking, I don't think their ults in this one are great. Individually, they look a lot better. They're making cross-map plays, they're getting stuff done. Here we go, he waits out the lethal tempo, recognizes that... Wow, okay. Well, no, that's just Gwen, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, I wasn't gonna say it. Just just collective, if you could just get your snip IAIs in the chat, that would be fantastic. That's all we need. That's really all we need. Just a bit of that. That'll get the message across. As Kingen now just going to, okay, here we go. We're bringing the friends. This time, as Faker doesn't want anything to do with it. Showstopper. Let's see whether this is going to be enough. Some more needlework and a teleport. And Canna might just be dead. If at first you don't succeed, maybe you just do it again and not succeed again. Not entirely sure. They are going to be able to trade it this time, though, as Cuz grabs the kill onto Solka. So 4v4 at this point in time. Faker just using the paranoia to limit the vision of DRX, as he should be able to push towards this top outer turret, and we're going to have mirrored objective takes, I believe. As of course bottom outer and top outer should go down. Teddy though does have the push in the mid lane. Becker is going to move on over and stop him from doing too much more. Captain Audience goes off. Kingen's going to be the first one to grab that turret, but Faker not far behind. And yeah, in the end, it's entirely even, I guess, as far as the outcome.
It's actually a pretty nice deny on the back here. And we joke about DRX, but they've not given up. Their bot side control is amazing. Kingen is able to bait out the play here.
Do you reckon we'll get a third time lucky on the try and kill Gwen?
Yeah, I think that's pretty likely. Ahsoka, bit disjointed with Faker using the paranoia, as you said, as a deterrent. There's just nothing that you can really do. It's lucky for TWon that this was a minute before the Drake and not during the Drake. Because then we would follow the script in the opposite way. Where it would be DRX who would be starting to stack Infernal Drakes. And as pointed out last game, Infernal Drakes for DRX have incredible value to make a composition a much bigger nuisance to deal with. Because need I remind you, Pyoshik, yes, he got a couple of kills, but he did so much damage pre-fights. It wasn't enough, but it was still a lot. If you add Infernal to that, it is a tough sell here. But TWon are looking for sword points, and
yeah, Shirley is just going to be used as a deterrent. That was never going to go off.
No.
As TWon did just abandon her, unfortunately for Shirley fans. TWon now moving on over. Canna in position here, bottom side of the river. Haven't started the Drakey just yet, but DRX know that they cannot give this one up.
Oh, look at Canna, but the bot side vision is really, really good. There's a lot of wards that are lighting it up, so Canna needs to respect the Gwen.
Yep, Stride Breaker just to get himself out of the way. Kingen's going to move on over and see whether he can get out this set of position. Carry over to the side. That's going to be Soul Point lockdown for TWon, but can they escape is the question. The answer may just be yes. There's some more needlework coming on through here. The flash on forward. As Cuz knows that he's dead, may as well press some buttons. But still, just the one kill and Soul Point lockdown for TWon. You'd probably take it if you are on our red side of the map.
Might as well. And this sounds crazy, but even if you lose Baron for this, I think it's still worth it.
Yeah.
As long as they don't snowball too much, you don't make any big mistakes.
Lose Baron?
Yeah. Just because of how good the threat of Soul is, right? Like, as long as you don't outright lose the game, because that's the exact situation that I've seen a lot of times happen with teams in the opposite direction, as you pointed out. Cuz is very dead here. There's no way that he ever lives. Forces out 2 flashes, actually, with that play, so...
Getting Bao's flash is actually huge. That means that he's
really,
fake of
really
food.
big.
He is just fake of food. Really what you want. There's a lot of discoing going on. Teddy's skin as well as Kingen's skin. A lot of discoing. And I just thought that was interesting.
No, it's okay. How do you feel about the genre, disco?
Disco?
Yeah.
I'm a big fan. I used to think that the Bee Gees were uncool. And now I think that past me was uncool for thinking that was uncool. The Bee Gees are great. It's a demonstration that I am a bit of a boomer. But as a younger person yourself, are you a Bee Gees fan?
I appreciate them.
Okay. Well, Solka is now just going to try and fight Faker, but Faker's just going to make him scared and run away. Which is kind of funny. Cuz just clearing out vision. Nothing really going to happen. So we can talk about disco music again, I guess. But no, some needlework here on the bottom side. Teleport to come through from TWon as maybe Kingen has overstepped. Doesn't have the ulti anymore as he throws out the mist one more time. The fear comes in. It's taking a long time to kill this Gwen, who almost manages to take down Canna. In the meantime, is Teddy going aggressive? Carrier finding Becker as well. That's a big hole Zenith blade as the Chains of Corruption come in as well, as everyone just seems to be limping away as we trade in the end. Was that a bit of a fadeaway from Carrier? Not sure. I think it was the last tick of Ignite that managed to take down Becker, as we've got a curtain call just for revenge on Carrier's killer. TWon will be able to lock down this outer turret. So trade in advantage of TWon.
It's a bit of a messy one here, Atlas, as Kingen does get taken down, but is able to almost single-handedly drag most of TWon's top side with him. As I understand this, but I don't think you ever get away with this if the teleport is up, right? There is no way that as Gwen you ever get out of this situation. The fact that Canna almost dies is just testament to Gwen the champion.
Whoa, that was...
yeah, without... yeah.
Alive for another second, and that would have been a 1-for-1, 100%.
And this is the look we haven't seen from TWon in a while, where Teddy is ready the moment that the play comes through, right? As it will be, as we can see here, the final tick of the 8 Knights, as well as Bao just hitting a basically point-blank arrow.
Yep.
But when the dust settles, and this is a recurring theme in really both of these two games, TWon really get the victory there, right? Like they pick up 3 kills for 2, or sorry, 3 kills for 1. 2 kills for 1? There we go, 2 kills for 1. Got there in the end.
And an outer turret, which is certainly going to help.
Which is the mid one as well, right? And one of the things that I actually gave DRX praise for, and I think that is one of the reasons why my assessment of them today, even though they might lose this game, might go down 0-2 again, is more positive than it was previously, is because their vision control has been a lot better. They actually keep looking for plays, right? And it's not where you need it to be yet.
Yeah,
but
it's running back the same comp that just lost the last game, and there were, you know, some reasons as to why, you know, the lack of peel for the Varus, etc., etc. Like that was definitely a negative. However, I think you're right with the way that they're playing the game.
That's the main
They are
thing.
looking better than they were in the past.
I avoided the draft conversation on purpose because I feel like you would have felt.
Sorry, the elephant was like standing there in the room, and he was starting to breathe on me, and his breath was weird, and I just didn't really like it, so I needed to make sure I just chatted to him, so he left.
I get it.
Yeah, it was uncomfortable.
I get it.
Yeah, apologies.
It's okay. Was his name Boogaloo?
I don't know.
Boogaloo the elephant?
I didn't ask him actually. It was very rude of me. I just addressed him. That was it.
Manners.
Yeah, I know. Honestly. Maybe I'm working on my elephant like I'm working on my Korean. I just haven't quite got it figured out yet. As Teddy going to get a little bit of a stun there, but we're starting to siege for DRX. This is something their composition can theoretically do.
No teleport for Fake, and this is a big fight. If you get this as T1, this game is golden.
But Kingen is jumping onto Canna. The Haymaker does a bit of work as he's just going to showstopper the Gwen over the wall and look to continue trying to escape. It's not really going to work as Stridebreaker gets Canna a little bit further. He does have the stopwatch that he sat on for such a long time. Moonfall comes on in here as another stopwatch is there. Kingen going to utilize his, but if Kingen falls here, it is a big problem for DRX. As Solka, he's going to go golden as well. League of stopwatch well and truly upon us right now as the curtain's going to be called. Solka in a bit of trouble here. Vision being picked up by Teddy. Last bullet, not going to be able to find the mark as now DRX should be able to deny the Infernal Soul.
There was a like 10-second window here for DRX, and they found it expertly. Really greedy from T1 to go hard on that engage with the teleport for Faker not available. If Kana is off by himself, he needs someone to back him up, and exactly the type of disjointed play that it's not going to be the end of the world, but do this against a stronger team and you might be in trouble. For now, T1 are able to avoid complete disaster, but it's still not a good look. Because look at the teleport cooldown here. That's why you have Kana in flanking position, because they're like, if you find someone now, we can go in. And hats off to Kingen for continuously finding these opportunities on the Gwen.
True. I mean, this was almost good from Canna, right? He gets underneath the turret, tries to make sure that he baits the Gwen in as far as possible, but unfortunately, it's that Gwen situation where she is just extraordinarily strong, and he's able to get out with all of that regen. There's a lot of stopwatches as well that really were a bit of a problem on both sides. As you can see, some broken ones. Cuz still has his, and Canna has sold the remnants of his stopwatch. 2 stopwatches still, though, up and available for DRX. See whether they can be employed next time they battle, as the one on Bao is, I think, the most important at this stage.
And Bao yet again going for the Serpent's Fang here. Makes sense. There's a locket. There is shielding coming through from Diana and the set.
Yep.
So in that regard, it is quite nice to pick it up. Now, as T1, you have 2 options. And yeah, that is a
death cap.
Death cap for Pioshik. And it took a while for him to get fed, but that one Infernal Drake is really going to add to the amount. 500 AP. Yeah, that'll get you there. And this is actually a big difference with last game, where it felt like at this point the composition of DRX was not really able to get reliable poking anymore. But the overall game state is looking a lot better. They're very competitive in terms of gold. And while I feel like T1 still have the ease of execution, as well as the fact that they only need to win a single fight in like the next 10 minutes, right? And that's really the kicker, and why I am still very hesitant to get enthusiastic about the current state of the game for DRX, even though I think that they clawed their way back expertly. I feel like we've seen so many times in the current meta that this is too late. That looks great.
Yeah.
Right? It's really, really good in terms of damage, but also it doesn't get you anything. You need to hit
No, it's
that.
not very consequential, but it looks cool.
It does. It does. But you need to actually be able to get anything out of it. And if DRX hit an arrow as well and/or a spear on someone early on, surrounding the next dragon, then they might be fine. But the real kicker is that T1 can just decide to still all in, and if that all in just somehow works, which with Seth and Diana is, that's Gwen.
It's a pretty decent amount of damage there from the Gwen.
I am happy for Kingen though, because I feel like Kingen has been by far the most consistent player on this roster throughout basically the entirety of their summer split.
Yeah, I think it was a big reason why they found more success than I think a lot of people were expecting.
Yeah, but I mean, in spring he was like, the whole team looked decent, right? But like, even in the losses in summer, I think that he has been the only one who's consistently looked strong. The rest of the team a little bit more up and down. Now, 1.5 minutes towards this dragon. If you look at summoners, basically all of them are up, right? Cuz doesn't has his yet, but he will have it available come the fight. GA just now finished. Mana Mune finished and stacked, so incredibly strong spikes from DRX. I'm actually starting to think, Atlas, if they are able to finesse their way onto the into the river, and if they're able to hit a little bit of poke on people like Teddy and Cuz, maybe DRX can actually turn this fight here.
Oh yeah, I mean that's what they want to do. You want to set up, get them low, and take them out, right? Whether they can actually get there and stop this Drake from being taken by TWon is the real danger. Every time one of these Dragons is taken by DRX, though, they get that little bit more strong. You mentioned how well the Infernal Drake works on them. As Spear not going to connect onto Cuz there. Listing lazily to the left. Worked out for him as T1 thinking about going for the trade. Don't know how I feel about it. Just really like the Infernal Soul, but Baron has been started. DRX, I think they know about it, but I don't know whether they're going to be able to get there. As you can see, the Gwen on the bottom side of the map. DRX have ran out of minions. They're just going to go for the brute force on this outer turret as the Baron is down to below half health. They're just trying to burst it. I think this is just gone.
Yeah.
As DRX, unfortunately, I mean, yes, they might be able to get some damage done onto this inhibitor turret. The reset does come in, and yep, 4 seconds until the Drake is alive. So maybe T1 can also get out onto the map.
Yeah, it's crucial mistiming from DRX there, and this is exactly the problem. I think that they will be able to get this.
Yeah, this should 100% be this.
You can go for the double teleport, but it's incredibly greedy and not really the way to go. But now you're going to get sieged by this composition from T1, and as pointed out earlier, I think this DRX comp is at its worst when it's on the back foot. It's a little bit better now with that second Infernal as well, because that poke is going to hurt so much. And that's why actually I wouldn't really mind some defensive itemization to kind of deal with the amount of damage that those spears from Pioshik are going to do.
Yeah.
I don't think we're going to see those yet, but...
Speaking of which, Carrier getting taken down to about half health.
And that's a Leona.
Yeah. Didn't quite have the Eclipse running or anything like that, as Pioshik now finishes his Void Staff. So, yeah, it's even more pain. As Cuz going for exactly the same build on the Diana. We're just glass cannoning one another with these junglers.
And then it becomes a question of, does DRX hit the poke before T1 all in them? It's really that simple. That's the only way as DRX when you get a relatively unified. Your kiteback is good, but the amount of hard engage on T1 is just ludicrous. So you're never going to be able to fully deny it. It's more about who do they find, who do they blow up. How much can you get done? The lack of grievous wounds on T1 scares me a little bit though.
Yeah. T1 here hanging out on the bottom side of the map. Remember, they can engage from an extraordinary distance away. The follow-up going to be there from the majority of the T1 members. Namely, Faker and Teddy, I guess. As, we'll see whether this poke is going to actually land. Pioshik not going to find that spear. There is the piercing arrow, and Teddy now just wanting to take down this inner. It just takes a lot of damage. This 4-item Jhin really able to chunk through this structure. Ow! Crit the turret for 800 damage. Not bad. You take that. Alrighty. As Carrier is still taking a lot of damage here from Pioshik. Pioshik can continue to land these spears. They might actually be able to make a mismatched fight for themselves, but currently bleeding objectives, as we can see.
Yeah, but at the same time, it's not really game-breaking for DRX, and that's a big one here, because as long as they're in this game, they have the opportunity to... Again, if they get the next Drake, then this game kind of flips on his head, because then it becomes a question, if they get TWon, can they go in?
Yeah, Paranoia is still available here for Faker, so he can turn the lights off. Looks like Becker is just going to walk away. Of course, he's a Brom. Pretty difficult to engage onto him. He's going to be all right. Still, it's just a stride breaker. You may as well utilize it. Kingin dashes on over the wall, and TWon are like, nah, this Gwen's pretty dumb. We're not going to go for this. But still, slowly but surely, they're getting things around this map. Solka does deal with the top wave, and now we'll be able to group back up with his team. So, time bought by DRX, not too much gained here by TWon, as this game is slowed down. As now I'm going to have to ask you, who do you think has the strongest 71-minute power spike?
Maybe it's DRX? Which is weird to say. But I think that TWon is going to run into the exact same issue where I don't know if this game goes on for longer and longer, they're going to have the confidence to actually pull the trigger, which has been a problem for them, right? And then if you don't pull the trigger, we get the same situation that they faced against Nongshim, where you are playing against Lethality Varus, then it was a Rumble, now it's a Nidalee, that are just going to throw skill shots at you. Eventually those are going to hit.
The non-committal side wins out because you don't actually need to make a decision, you just fish.
Yes.
Is that what you're saying?
So as long as TWon doesn't just stand there and actually uses their flash engages to get anything done, I think they should still be favored. I think that it will be really hard for DRX to keep Bao alive throughout it all, but at the same time, it's a weird situation because, as I said, I think that in isolation you look at the TWon comp and I think that they're clearly better in late game scenarios, but the range advantage for DRX might be a bit of a problem, and that combined with TWon's general lack of tendency to be a bit too apprehensive at times, makes the hard one to call. On the flip side, TWon is in a position where more so than DRX, if they do ever commit and it works out, which with their comp generally, it will. They're in for a heap of trouble. And Teddy, he needs to get a little bit more. He has a... that's the Grump.
Vampiric Scepter. There we go. Get on over here, Teddy. Manages to get the heal from the Grump as well. Not bad.
They got you there.
Yep. Good, good, good. Okay. So, TWon now just in position. We've got 13 seconds till potentially 18. Don't want to get your hopes up, though. Teddy, my goodness, just does a lot of damage.
It has to be. The DRX are definitely going to look for a fight. Faker splitting, but I would much rather see that Nocturne here. Teleport and Paranoia available here, Atlas.
Yeah, I expect the Paranoia teleport to be employed. Tale as old as time is what it feels like since Nocturne has come into the meta. Okay, Drake is going to reset. Kingin picks it up though. Turret going to be taken here by Faker. They're going to have to start some sort of play as the Drake gets taken down pretty quickly, especially by Kingin, who does a lot of damage. They will pick up the aggro as, okay, in they go. Canna very close to just dead as the fight starts. That is the Infernal Soul picked up. Faker dives into the backline. Bao does use that stopwatch that we were talking about, but will he stay alive? The answer is absolutely not, as Kaz is a nuclear bomb in the backline with this build that he's gone for. Doesn't stay alive for very long, though, is now Teddy setting himself up with the curtain call as Solka walks towards him. Teddy thought that he might be able to go for this one. Okay, Deadly Flourish not actually going to be employed as Kingin looking for Keria, looking for Faker, wanting to find an opportunity to close the gap, but he's not going to be able to. If he gets on top of anyone, he kills them. However, needs to find the Leona, as there are wolves there. There's Keria as well.
Keria!
Kingin, you knew! You saw him! Oh, dearie me, the Hex Flash gets him out, and Solka gets the bad news just before he gets over the wall.
Special Agent Keria!
Doesn't matter. Special Agent?
Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter where you put him. He will find a way to get out. Wow.
That was silly. That was real silly.
Oh my god. And this was a very important team fight. Kana so close to dying. I think if he dies there, this might go completely different. But even if they lose this fight, that starts with the Infernal getting picked up. Right? So everything afterwards is just gravy. Pay attention to Teddy, who plays this out just gorgeously. A really nice stopwatch. Snipe #1. Didn't actually have a vision there, I think, at the end of the fight. And
watching Teddy like almost walk back in there, I thought that maybe he could two-shot the Crocodile, but did need to be pretty careful as we're going to check out how he did this one. My
야,
God,
빼봐,
the
빼봐,
damage.
빼봐.
His weaving in and out and like still hitting autos is just, oh.
나 샤 없어, 샤 없어.
Oh,
나 샤 없어, 샤 없어. 딜 못해, 딜 못해.
I like how you saw his mouse sort of wiggle around. He's like, yeah, it's about there. Gets the kill.
okay.
Beautiful. Oh, in the meantime, some needlework going on here towards the top side of the map. And Faker is going to escape. Had to use his flash, though. As 6 items on the Jin is very, very scary.
Love this final piece of itemization as well from Teddy. His positioning has been exceptional the entire game. And I think that while GA is really good into dive compositions against a poke composition, Bloodthirster has the very obvious benefit of one, giving you a shield, and secondly, even if you do get hit, and they get through your shield, you hit like a wave, and you are good to go. So Teddy's feeling really good.
2,000 damage, Chronicle.
Yeah,
It's a big amount of damage.
it is.
That's my assessment.
Fountain Laser Teddy, it's been a while since we've really seen him, but you know, it's a bit more fragmented with the 4 separate lasers.
Do you think there are
but
enough
it's getting
traps? Do you think Pioshik has put down enough traps in this area?
there. Maybe? He's like, oh, it's just it's nice champion you got the read nearly. I'm set.
Yeah,
He
just walks
over.
into it.
Oh, I just use this as fuel, you know, if you try to engage on me. And Kingin is like, oh, guys. You know, he's in his promos. He's doing really, really well.
He's trying his very best.
He's having the side lane pressure, but then we get a lot of Teddy shots, and I don't really mind it. I think seeing.
I mean, he's the one that's been doing the stuff. Chronicler, I was talking about Cuz being that nuclear bomb trying to get into the backline. When we saw the replay, he wasn't actually able to get too much done at all. He just kind of popped. But it was Teddy that was able to get so much of the work done. I mean, if Cuz can get in there, you know, and actually land some abilities, get a Moonfall onto multiple members, then that will happen. Now has the Zhonya's completed. But we haven't seen that just yet. Looking forward to it.
Also, if I'm not mistaken, I think Teddy is a perfect KDA across this series thus far, because I don't think he died in game number 1.
I don't think so either. Okay, we're just going to look for Bao with the curtain call. Teddy going to the shooting range, having a bit of a day off as the Unbreakable is going to wear off. And Becca's like, well, may as well just soak it.
Yeah. That's the full shot on full health Brom. That's what Infernal Soul will get you. Oh my god.
Infernal Soul and, you know, the old 5 big old items as Cuz is looking to blow up the Nidalee and does so pretty effectively. We'll find the Q as well. Lands it onto a couple of extra members at the same time as Canna's going to come through and make sure the counter engage is impossible. T1 think that taking the jungler means Baron, and look, I kind of agree with them. Unless they kind of want to defend this inner turret that will get just snipped to bits by this Gwen.
It's just not on time, right? Like, you might get, again, a turret. I don't even think King is going to get that. It's just, there's not enough time. There's not enough pressure on the map. The Baron damage is too high.
The Flame Horizon Teddy Jin situation is certainly one that DRX fans are pretty frightened of at this point in time.
Didn't even, they had no vision there, right? Like, they knew that there was a chance that he walked in there, but I was just throwing out a Q to test the waters, hits it, and then
Large amount of damage from this
blows him
very, very damage-focused, you could say, Diana build.
there is one win condition here. He sold his boots. He now is a collector. So Teddy's ready. Teddy's ready to right-click some people.
Oh yeah.
But and we joke, and this game should be in the bag for T1. But there is one way, and it's the Elder Flip.
Oh yeah. Wow, King took a lot of damage from Cuz. Okay, that spear also doing a lot of work here as Kingen moves on over. We are doing it. This is exactly what we were talking about. Teddy is going to throw out the curtain call, knows exactly where DRX are, and they are going to have to get off the Elder. That may have just got them into position as the Blast Cone gets Kingen over the wall. In the meantime, Fake is just in the bottom lane as in goes Canna. There's the Paranoia as Fake will see where he is. The Elder was taken by T1 though, and I think that may just spell the end of DRX. Faker gets on top of Becca. The Dragon is getting extraordinarily angry. That's going to be the ace, and that will be the 2-0 for T1.
And it's a necessary game for TWon Atlas, the TWon that we haven't seen in a while, and I think DRX looked better today than they have in a while, but against a TWon that clearly also looks better than they have in a while, not enough whatsoever.
Yeah. And also, I don't know about the salty run back. I feel like we have learned that if you do it again, maybe it takes a bit longer, but the outcome is the same. Teddy's still just absolutely dominant. I think maybe the media might have been voting for this game instead of the other one. Not entirely sure. I think that maybe he deserves it this time around. Some smiles on the T1 members' faces.